Good morning, everyone. Welcome to this week's Weekly Live. Thank you for coming to the Weekly Live for Relationship Communications. I'm thrilled that you're here with me. And for those of you that may be here for the first time, I'm Lisa DeToffol, and I am the founder of Relationship Communications. It's my online community where I work with established and aspiring entrepreneurs. And today I'm going to be your host for the Relationship Communications Weekly Live, which is my weekly live show that streams every Friday morning at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. And my goal here is to share tactical and practical information to help you get where you want to go faster than you can on your own. I've been an entrepreneur for 6 years and I've made many mistakes. And I'm here to tell you that I can help you move through them quickly by sharing what I have learned through my experiences. So let me know if you're here live with me. Say hello. Let me know where you're coming in from. I would love to hear that. And we are streaming on various different platforms, Facebook, all over Facebook, of course, and YouTube. So if you are joining us on YouTube, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button or ring that bell so that you can be notified every time that we do go live. So today we're going to be talking about part 2 of successfully setting boundaries with clients. I spoke, part 1 was last Friday, so part 2 is today, and I have a lot to share. But before I dive into that, I want to introduce myself. So back when I was a preschool teacher in 2017 and 25 years prior to that, I had dreamed of working from home. But I had been through 2 messy divorces and been a single mom twice. And it didn't seem possible at that time. I was the breadwinner for the household and scared to take the chance to go out and do anything on my own. Then I met my husband in 2012, and that is when I could see the possibility of my dream coming true. However, it was not an easy task. But with Jeff's support, I started a training program to learn how to become a virtual assistant in 2018, which also showed me how to start my own business. And by the end of that program, I had a couple of clients and have continued to grow my business. And now the Tiger Eye Solution team that was established in 2021 every single year. So my life definitely looks a whole lot different now than it did back then. This is my husband, Jeff, our children, Caleb, Matthew, and Alyssa, and our grandchildren, John Price, Hattie, and Anakin. And fortunately, this week I've had the opportunity to spend some time with all 3 grandchildren, which never happens, but it was very nice. So let's dive into successfully setting boundaries with clients. Okay. I shared a little bit about this with you last week. We got to the get mad rule. So I'm going to kind of start there. The get mad rule is another example of this. Is I had a client ask for a refund, and she was really pushing me to give her money back. She worked for a nonprofit, and she was really, pushing the nonprofit button, if you will. I get nonprofits; they can still make money and they can still spend money. And they just have to, they have different tax things going on, when they do their taxes and such. But a lot of things are for most nonprofits are for a good cause. And I'm all about supporting, good causes and nonprofits that support them. So she bought a debit card and, bought time in good faith from Tiger Eye Solution. And I was brought in by someone else, who knows me and trusts me. And she was a little insulting. She was just a part of that team. The person that brought me in had a large team they were working with on this specific project. And that person brought me in to help with the specific project. So, and she was a little insulting, about them bringing me in at first. And then when she emailed me and shared that she thought the money could be used better somewhere else, or in a better way, I was like, okay. So I kind of took it personally for a second, and then I decided not to. Then I said to her, I hear your request. Giving refunds is not something I typically do. I'll get back to you on Friday with my decision. So I did not give her an answer at that given moment as to if I was going to give her a refund or not. I told her I would get back to her at a specific time, right? So I had to check in with this issue at hand, a little longer, and against the get mad rule, because I think it's going to make me mad. And it absolutely did make me mad. Okay. Because of the way she was handling it. She was blaming someone else, blaming the person that brought me in to the project. She wasn't owning up to it. She didn't say that they had a misunderstanding, or anything of that nature. And the meeting before the project started was very clear when they decided to hire me. Okay. And she had the debit card for over 6 months. So here I had been working with this team of people and on this specific project for 6 months because they bought a debit card 6 months ago, right? She got the reminders every week, the email reminders, of how much time she had left on her debit card and, all the things. And now all of a sudden she decides she wants her money back. So I waited till Friday and checked in with myself several times, vented a little bit, because it did make me mad. That someone that knew me brought me into this project on good faith, knowing that I was capable to help with XYZ, what they needed. But just because she was part of that team and it was for a nonprofit, she didn't see the value of them spending the money to pay me to help them do XYZ, what they needed, right? So then I wrote her email on Friday in a few words. However, I did contact the person that brought me in before making my decision and before sending her the email. And they assured me that the nonprofit could afford me, for me not to give her the money back. I wrote the email to let her know that I considered her request, but was not able to honor it. Let her know she still had 30 days on her debit card. And here's the link to my services page to where she could, look at other services that Tiger Eye Solution offers, and that I would be happy to help her with any of the services on that page. I kept my word. I was respectful of her. I did get mad, but not in front of her. But that shows how the get mad rule works. Yes, what she was asking me to do made me mad because that's not something that I do on a regular basis. I mean, there has to be a really, really, really good reason of why you're requesting your money back. And my debit cards are good for 6 months. So she's had her debit card for 6 months already. It's expired. I was gracious and gave her 30 days that was left on it. So she did get something, but she didn't get her money back because that's not something I do. Right? So, again, I was respectful, although I did get mad, but that's how the get mad rule works. Okay. So you have to think about the situation at hand and how it should be handled. I've never said anything like that to a client, especially when they get me on the spot, on a call or anything. I would always tell them, I'll get back to you. Like I'll get back to you on Friday or whatever. So she was shocked, that I didn't give her an answer right then and there on the spot. I let her know I had to sit with it because I don't typically do that. Sorry. And you have that choice if you need to think about the situation before making a decision. You totally can do that, okay? So how is this sitting with you so far? The get mad rule. Do you already have something of that nature in place or no? It doesn't make sense. Does all this actually make sense? We're going to keep going, but I just want to have your, get your thoughts, your feedback as well. So, when are you working and when are you not? You have to decide. And working and not really working at the same time doesn't work. Okay. I have done that, been there and done that. Okay. Where I'm working and then I just make some decision to stop working and go over here and do something else, or go take a walk, or go eat a snack, or, what have you. And when I do this, I miss meetings and getting important things done. Actually, I did this just the other day. So I'm either at work and everything is handled. I get all the work done and I know when I have to come back. I do schedule breaks throughout the day, as we all should. But if I'm in the middle of something, I'm not just going to get up and walk away from it. I mean, unless there's an emergency, of course, that's understandable. But I have specific times of the day scheduled to take breaks. And so that's when I get up and leave my desk, go take a 10-minute break, or go take a 30-minute break for lunch, whatever time of day it is. But I do have those scheduled in my daily schedule. Okay. So I make sure everything is handled, and then I know when I have to come back. Or if I'm not coming back, if I'm done for the day, I'll come back in the morning. You have to decide when you're going, to do this or talk about this. Just because a client is working on the weekend doesn't mean you have to work on the weekend. So this is something you need to make clear to clients, especially new ones that you have coming in, clients or customers. You have to let them know up front, this is when I work. If you reach out to me, after hours or whatever, I will respond to you on the next business day. So I do have office hours in place, 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. Eastern time. Does that mean I absolutely walk out my door at 3 p.m. in the afternoon? No. But for clients, I don't respond to them, whether it's through email, phone call, text, whatever it is, after 3 p.m. in the afternoon. I will respond to them the next day. Unless it's an emergency. Now, if I know that it's an emergency, or we have a very tight deadline to get XYZ done, whatever it is I'm doing for them, then yes, that may be an exception as well. But I have my boundaries. I have my set time that I work, and they know that up front. I make sure they know that up front. Okay. So you have to let them know up front. You have to communicate that to them in some way, shape, or form, whether it's via email, a conversation, or whatever that looks like for you. Make sure you let them know and be clear of the specific time of day that you are available for a phone call or an email or text message or whatever form of communication you use with your clients or customers. Okay. So, you want to think about it, like my client Jim I had spoke about last week, him sending me the information on Wednesday night. You have to think about it. If you want to work on Saturday, or it's your choice. So you get to pick and choose when you work, basically, is what this means. Okay. Yes, I reached out to Jim and let him know I needed the information for his newsletter that he wanted to go out on Thursday of a specific week. He needed to get the information to me so I could get the newsletter taken care of. He didn't send me that information till first thing Wednesday morning. I've already got my schedule in place for Wednesday. In other words, if I got to work this newsletter into my schedule, it's not going to be done and it's not going to go out on Thursday like he originally wanted. It's going to end up going out on Friday instead. And I have to communicate that to him. I ask first thing Monday morning, I ask for this information because I was working it into my schedule on Tuesday to take care of his newsletter. But I didn't have the information to take care of it on Tuesday, so it didn't get done. I didn't get the information I needed till Wednesday morning. So in other words, I had to work that into my schedule for Wednesday to get that newsletter done. And then I have to send it back for his approval. So I'm not going to get it back from being approved till Thursday. Therefore, it can't be scheduled to go out till Friday. He made that choice not to get me the information when I actually needed it. So I had to bump it out a day. Because there's a process, and they think sometimes clients and customers think, if I send her this on Wednesday morning, she'll take care of it real quick and get it back to me, and I can get it approved and sent back to her Thursday morning, and she can go ahead and send it out. No, that's not always the case. Because Jim is not my only client, right? I have other clients and customer work to take care of. I have Tiger Eye Solution things to take care of. There's other things on my agenda or on my schedule that has to be done and taken care of. Jim needs to realize that. He needs to respect that. That particular week, he did not. Because he didn't send me the information I needed till Wednesday morning. So, yes, your clients have the opportunity to pick and choose when they want to work too. If they want to work on a Saturday, that's perfectly fine. But that doesn't mean you have to. Okay? Now, let me tell you how I handle working on a Saturday, because I don't want clients to be contacting me on a Saturday. Do I work on Saturdays? Sometimes. I've gotten it narrowed down now to one Saturday a month if needed. Now, I don't always have to work on a Saturday, once a month. But if I need to, then I go ahead and schedule it and make myself available to work on a Saturday. But if I'm working on a Saturday, it's because I'm trying to get something specific completed. Okay. Trying to meet the deadline that has been set for that specific project or that specific work. Okay. So when the client is working on the weekend and they're sending stuff to you, what should you do to be grateful? Just be grateful that they're sending you work. You don't have to respond to it, but just be grateful, because what they're doing is putting work on your schedule or on your agenda for the next week, right? It means more hours, more money that you're going to be making, right? So make a shift of, I can't believe they're doing this to me on a Saturday, to, this is wonderful. My next week is filling up. I'm going to have X amount of billable hours or X amount of work to complete for clients next week, which are paying me to do whatever it is, right? So decide when you're working and when you're not. Okay, that's your choice. So taking things personally, this is a big one, okay? Very, very big one, because I know a lot of us do that. Hi, Heather. Good morning. So glad you could join me. Yeah, taking things personally is really, really huge. So when something happens that we don't love, and we feel like someone is trying to push against all our boundaries that we have in place, I want you to realize they are not actually thinking about you. They're thinking about them. They're thinking of the voices in their head and not thinking about you at all. Okay? If it happens and you take it personally, notice it and say, oh, wow, I'm really taking this personally. Feel it. If you start to notice it, you will be able to identify that feeling in your body, and then you can decide how you want to handle it. And if it's going to make you mad, then you have to go and put it up against the get mad rule too, right? So try to make up a better story when you realize that you took it personally. Okay? There have been times when people have been rude to me. So rude that I fired them, parted ways with them. Yes, learning to not take things personally is definitely a big one, Heather. Yes. Yes, and patience and practice. And it can be a learning curve as well. Thank you so much for sharing. Like I said, people have been rude to me in the past, and I fired them or parted ways with them, but that doesn't happen very often. People don't say please and thank you very much. People are very busy and overwhelmed. I have a client who, they're lovely people, and they ask me for something and I give it to them, and sometimes never hear back from them. They'll sign up, they'll buy a debit card and hire me to do XYZ for them. We'll get that taken care of. We'll complete XYZ for them. And they go on their merry way, and I never hear from them again. So the story that I make up is, oh, I love it. Yay. Thank you. I guess they loved the finished product, what we completed for them. I make it very, very positive. Yes, I may not ever hear from them again, but I think, oh, wow, I must have really solved XYZ, the problem, the issue that they came to me with for them. And they must be thrilled, right? Because if they're not, hopefully they would come back and tell me and let me know and give me the opportunity to make it right or do it a different way or whatever the case may be, right? And it's just a much nicer feeling to think that I nailed it, that they were pleased with the finished product that they received, okay? Then wonder if I didn't. So there's a lot of self-talk that goes with boundaries and taking it personally. So make up good stories, okay? It will keep you in a better mood, in a better place. If someone crosses your boundaries, decide how you're going to handle it. But maybe not in that moment when they're doing it. In the case of somebody that I was working really hard with or closely with, and I was working with my team, we were producing unbelievable, awesome work that I was really, really proud of as well. We were building websites, memberships, all the things, and the client workload, taking care of all that too. And it was so exciting. And then we were in the middle of something, and I remember I was in my kitchen and a client called me. I answered, and the client was complaining about something, and not in a constructive way. I think you might have missed this. They were being condescending. And so I was really taken back, wasn't expecting that, in other words. And I couldn't even talk. I just said, it's late. I'm really tired. Let's talk about this tomorrow. Good night. And I hung up the phone. The next day, they did it again. And I was really mad, which meant I was probably really hurt. And I said to them, it feels like you are being condescending. And they said, I am. They said, because of this, this, and this. It was just so inappropriate, the way they handled the situation. We had not done anything wrong. My team and I had not done anything wrong. And even if we had, there is a way to talk about it. Be respectful, be professional. We're all supposed to be professionals, right? It's a constant conversation. Yes, make up good stories. Absolutely, Heather. Thank you for that. But that wasn't the case. They were not being professional and they weren't being nice. So I fired them the next day. I gave them 30 days because we were so in their business, in, I guess, the depths of what the project that we were working on with them. And I explained to my team what happened, and we all parted ways with that client. Sometimes people do cross the line and it's personal, but I want you to try to stay on the side of not taking it personally. And, don't talk to them about it in that given moment if you don't feel comfortable doing so. Just tell them, let's have a conversation about this tomorrow. It's late and I need to go. Join me next week because there's going to be a part 3 on this as well, where we will discuss being more proactive around these type of things as well. So I hope everyone has a great weekend, and I will see you again next week. Thank you so much, Heather, for joining me.